Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about how to increase adoption for specific features of your product. The first step before we do anything would be important for us to understand the current levels of adoption for this feature today. So I'm going to drill down to the Note Submit button feature of my application. I'm going to take a look at some metrics. So here, I have displayed the total amount of users that have leveraged the feature within this period of time, but also the total amount of customers, which we also call accounts, and even the total amount of clicks within the same time frame. If you launch a new feature, you might also want to create a goal. For example, I want at least 5,000 users to leverage that feature within 3 months of its launch. So once you save that, you can now see that I'm at 15% of that goal. I'm also tracking under this trend line here, which means that if I keep going that same direction, I might not achieve that goal at all. Now, the good news is that Pendo allows you to create in-app guidance that allows you to drive adoption for that feature. Let me show you a couple examples. So here, you can display this message to users anywhere in your app or a specific page, and it can announce that feature to them. So it can bring awareness towards the feature, tells them why they might benefit from using it, and even teach them how to use it. If you choose to click on the Show Me button, for example, that can trigger a whole step-by-step guide on how to use that feature. Another way to announce features could be through the new badge. This can be positioned right next to the actual feature, in this case, this button. In a similar fashion, it introduces that feature in a nice way to the user. The last one would be the resource center. So this is also inserted by Pendo on your application. You can customize it. And one of the modules it offers is the announcement module, which can blink with a badge to say there's news for you to read. And in a similar way, you can announce the same feature. So different ways to achieve the same result. No matter what way you choose, the most important thing you can do is to make sure that you're targeting any of these guides to the right people. What I mean by it is that, let's say one of these features is only relevant to a certain user role called admin in my application. It can specify they're the only ones that are going to see that type of guide. More importantly, I want to target this to admins that never use the feature, so I'm not bothering the admins who already used it. The last thing you want to do is to measure the effectiveness of that in-app guide campaign. What I mean by it is that one of these guides, I can have here a guide goal that tells me that 38% of people that have seen that guide have went on to actually use the feature I was announcing, which is great news. If you want to have a more scientific approach, you can even run an experiment which will serve the guide to a portion of your users, and another portion will see no guide at all. And then we can tell a conclusion. For example, visitors who saw the guide are 50% more likely to actually use the feature, which is great. At the end of the day, this is how you can measure and increase adoption with Pendo, which ultimately should lead to your users extracting more value off your product.